I don't think anybody can help me now, except maybe the judge.
Well, it's just a preliminary hearing. No need to get too worried.
Well, at least I'll have a pretty good idea what kind of case they have against me.
If it goes to the grand jury, then you can get too worried.
That's what I figure.
You haven't grown any fonder of jails, have you?
Are you suggesting I should?
I'm suggesting you have more control over your destiny than you probably think.
Oh, I'm certainly not about to lock myself up in any cell.
Come on, Sean, give them back the money. You can't spend it in jail anyway.
Morning, gents.
Oh, Jake?
We have a few last-minute details to go over before the hearing.
Yeah, well, just a minute, Jake. I'll be with you, okay?
Sure. I'll be right over here.
Yeah. All right. What's up? What's really up? I'm sure you didn't come all the way down here just to provide me with moral support.
This information, stuff I requested on Grenville, arrived today.
You mean the guy you think threatened Anna?
I know he did. Just that I can't prove it, largely because Robin's testimony is inadmissible in court. He's not the only one I'm after.
Yeah, Duke, too.
First, I've got to prove that he's involved. I'm running out of time to do it. If I want to nail Lavery, I've got to do it before Anna marries him.
Believe me, it was not a polite request. She demanded that I talk to her right then and there.
Well, how'd you stall her?
I made some excuse about being late for a business appointment, and I hightailed it out of that restaurant before she could stop me.
You think she suspects that Alan's faking the amnesia?
Well, why else would she be so upset? Good Lord, she knows Alan's alive. She saw him up there in Pautaut.
The question is, how long before she tells Sean?
Yeah, and blows our scheme sky high.
Look, Edward, you've got to convince Sean to sign that financial agreement today. Tiffany's tired of trying to keep the two of them apart.
Yeah. After his hearing today, he may come crawling to us on bended knee, asking us to sign almost anything.
Just wonder what Monica's going to say on the witness stand.
Well, I'd love to put Tiffany right down there in the front row. Let her smile up at Monica all during her testimony.
Monica'd be the alibi Sean needs. I mean, a widow's testimony is very powerful.
I just got to get to him before she does.
Jake, do you think we have time for a cup of coffee?
Quick one. Hearing's about to start.
All right, great.
Could I have a word with you, Sean? In private.
Sure. I'll catch up with you, Jake.
Okay.
Oh, what's that?
The little agreement I mentioned, I took the liberty of having it drawn up in writing. All you have to do is sign at the bottom of the page, and you're a free man.
I am not going to let go of one red cent until I'm thoroughly convinced that's the only way out for me, Edward.
What more proof do you need?
I need seed money. For me to rebuild my waterfront empire, I have to do that from scratch. I'll be left with nothing.
Except your privacy. And your freedom. What kind of a price do you put on that? Believe me, all the money in the world isn't going to buy the police off once they toss you in jail.
Now, I'm warning members of the press for the last time. I will have quiet in my courtroom, or I will have no reporters. Now, may I repeat, this is a preliminary hearing, the purpose of which is to determine whether there is sufficient evidence to hold the defendant for the grand jury. The burden of proof is on the state. You may proceed.
Mr. Holt, you testified you were with the police when they found the deceased's parachute.
That's correct.
At that point, foul play became a consideration?
Objection, Your Honor. Calls for a conclusion on the witness, which he's not qualified to make.
Sustained.
I have no further questions for the witness at this time, Your Honor.
Your witness.
Mr. Holt, how did the police come by looking for Alan's parachute in the area in which it was found?
I wouldn't know about that.
Was the discovery of this apparently critical piece of evidence found simply by luck, or was it more by design?
I don't follow you.
The day in question, the police received an anonymous tip describing the exact location of this article in question. Somebody wanted the police to find that parachute. Who?
Objection, Your Honor. As counsel has already suggested, the witness is unqualified to draw conclusions about police procedure or criminal motive.
Sustained.
Mr. Holt, did you know about the anonymous tip?
Yes, I heard the officers say something about that, yeah.
Did they happen to mention where they thought it might have come from?
If they would have, it wouldn't have been anonymous, now would it?
No more questions, Your Honor. I would like to reserve the right to recall the witness at a later date.
Mr. Meyer, I sincerely hope this hearing is not going to drag on beyond today, but you do have that right. You may step down.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Call your next witness.
The state calls Lawrence Werner to the stand. Your Honor, Mr. Werner is an attorney at law for the New York firm of Rothblatt, Werner and Associates. He will provide this court with a letter he received from the deceased shortly after Dr. Quartermain's untimely demise.
Score. Don't. We're getting killed.
Hearing should be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. You may be seated.
Hi, Sean. Good luck, Sean.
Which side are you on? I thought you were supposed to be against me.
Well, I might be chief of police, but I'm also your friend. I know you didn't kill Alan Quartermain or anyone else.
Thanks for the vote of confidence. Aubrey gave me a little support earlier, too. I just wish you two were out sitting up there on the bench, that's all.
So do I.
Sir, isn't it true that handwriting analysis, even when performed by an expert like yourself, is at best an inexact science?
We've already gone over this. The letter in question was written by Dr. Alan Quartermain.
Mr. Meyer, this has been a long cross-examination. You and the witness are clearly exhausted. Frankly, I'm inclined to believe this expert witness's testimony is accurate. He's shown this court blow-ups of the deceased's handwriting, which perfectly match the letter. I'm afraid pursuing this line of inquiry is a waste of time.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Witness is dismissed. Who are you calling next?
Dr. Monica Quartermain, Your Honor.
Oh. In that case, I think perhaps we could all use a breather. This court is recessed for 30 minutes.
All rise.
If I had a jury to work, I might have been able to cast some doubt on this handwriting analysis stuff. This judge knows his way around expert witnesses.
I wonder where Monica is.
I'm sure she'll show up soon. She is the head attraction.
Absolutely. Her testimony is critical now.
Yes, I'm afraid she is the swing vote. Whatever Monica says will decide whether or not Sean goes to the grand jury.
Sean, I'm going to take off. All right?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
We can go take a break, too.
Go on a break. Maybe I can talk to Jake. Okay, good luck. Come on. Jake?
What are you going to tell the judge, Monica?
The truth?
Oh, that's fair enough. I'd just like to know how you're going to phrase it.
Well, I thought the plain English would be best.
Monica, you know what I mean. Depending on the way you choose your words, you could make me look like a saint or a sinner. And you can send me to jail. I'd just like to know how you're going to play it in there, that's all.
Well, you'll find out. You have a front row seat.
But damn it, do you think this is a game? My life is on the line here. What's wrong with you?
Ask Tiffany.
You were with the defendant when you both received word of your husband's death?
Yes.
What was his reaction?
Well, I was devastated, of course, and Mr. Donnelly, well, he seemed very concerned about me.
So far, so good.
I don't like the look on her face, Jack.
Thank you, Doctor. Your witness.
Monica, you just testified that after hearing about Alan, Sean's first thoughts were of you. Would you say that he was shocked to hear of Alan's death?
Not particularly. Well, a WSB agent is trained to mask their feelings. I know that from experience. I know that most of the agents are always living a life of lies.
Just answer the questions. What does Sean say at this point, other than the usual words of condolence?
What Mr. Donnelly says and what Mr. Donnelly does are two entirely different things.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Because Mr. Donnelly is going to do anything he can to protect himself, anything.
That will be all, Dr. Quartermain. Who's your next witness?
Edward Quartermain, Your Honor.
We'll resume with Mr. Quartermain's testimony in 30 minutes. Court is recessed.
All rise.
I'm going to the judge's chambers to talk to the judge.
Sit down, Jake. Monica just sent me to the grand jury. It's over. The question is now, what am I going to do about it?